Thank you for tuning in to the Spot Burn Podcast, brought to you by Musky Fool. Join your hosts, Dan and Josh, as we ignite the hottest topics in fly fishing, answer your burning questions, and get fired up about our love for the great outdoors. Now let's get burning. We hope you enjoy the show.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Spot Burn Podcast with your hosts, Dan and Josh. Happy podcasting day again. Episode 35, folks.
35.
We got a lot on the agenda, including the official launch of something brand new that we've been working on for a while, which we are calling
The Fly Roast. The official Fly Roast.
The Fly Roast. So tune in to the full episode to hear more about that. We'll also be covering current events and then do a deep dive into some 2024 highlights and lowlights, and then wrap it up with some the cool stuff that's in store for the 2025 season.
Yeah, just like a recap, what happened in the year, talk about horror stories, wins, losses, licks.
Shooting flares off.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was a fucking low point.
Things of that nature.
That was a low point for my last decade of life, not just last year.
Hope you're all doing
Might be
well
top
out there.
5 low points of my life.
When you were literally swimming your boat, shooting flares off.
I thought we were just going to record one podcast about it, and then I'd never have to think about it again, but...
I'm sorry, I brought it up.
Here we are.
Too soon. Too soon. All right, let's jump into current events here. So number one here, we got underwater trail cameras.
Oh, dude.
So this was brought to our attention recently.
Is this at a trade show? Somebody, like a new product release, right?
Yeah, new product release. It looks like a fairly new company.
You fuckers are worried about live scope. Just you wait. Holy shit.
This company is called Seaweed Underwater Cameras. They have what's called the S1 underwater trail cam right now. It's the first of its kind. It kind of operates like a traditional game camera you'd see for deer, bear, turkeys, and whatnot. But this underwater trail camera uses AI for aquatic habitats. So anglers, lakefront owners or whoever, enthusiasts of the underwater world, they can set this up in their favorite spots, and then they get like real-time alerts on their phone of fish activity and stuff like that. Pre-orders are available now. It sounds like it's about to
Have you seen any
ship
videos
out.
on this?
Yes, I did. You can go to their website. There's some other people on Instagram that were at the expo and took videos of it while they were demonstrating it. Pre-orders available right now. It's expected to arrive in April.
Who do you think
of
their
this
ideal,
year.
who did they make this for?
Probably the people that love live scope. I don't know, people that suck at fishing and they need more advantages because they are too lazy to go through the learning curve themselves, or gearheads. I don't know, but we'll get into our thoughts in a second here.
There's part of me that thinks it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because what are you gonna do? You're gonna be right now, you and I are sitting here, and our underwater trail cam goes off and tells us there was a muskie swimming past it. We're like, hurry, everybody leave, get in the car, go, 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 go.
Yeah.
But then again, it's also scary because it's real-time monitoring.
Yeah.
It'd be cool for scientists. Fish surveys, you could do some cool shit with that.
I know, I do think, so my initial gut reaction was similar to what you just said. I'm like, God damn it. I don't think the world just needs more technology. We don't need all this other bullshit in our lives.
I want a robot to do my laundry and a car that drives me to fishing spots without me. But other than that, I don't want any more technology.
Yeah, so
we just draw the line there.
That was my initial gut reaction. It was I scoffed at it. But then I thought of it from maybe a conservation standpoint.
Yeah, are there, for instance, you just made me think the, how they're trying to tell, they have that fish barrier in the Chicago River that's trying to tell if there are Asian carp getting into Lake Michigan.
Yes.
But it's not this perfect science.
Yeah.
This seems like it'd be a perfect tool for that. It would theoretically be able to turn on and record if a fish swam past it.
Exactly. I support that intention of this product. What I don't support is this being mass produced and like available to absolutely everybody who wants it.
Well, we're going to talk about another product today, and
Yeah. So
interesting stuff, though.
Their mission statement is to help conservationists, fishermen, and waterfront homeowners remotely monitor and better understand the aquatic habitat.
I like that. That sounds
so that's kind of cool. Like, they have good intentions. They're a bunch of young bucks like us. So
it's better than TikTok's mission statement.
We will see. Yeah.
More to come. Or we'll see how quickly. It seems like a new type of product, so we'll see how quickly it kind of like.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see adoption. How quickly do scientists and conservationists start using it? Anglers? Does some dude, because that's what happened with LiveScope. It like came out, and for a while, it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But then like it required a couple forward-thinking people to like take it, use it, apply it, figure out how it works, and then they're like, oh, we can road hunt muskies, and we'll see what this does.
Yeah, maybe we're just old men that are a little off base at this point, but we'll see.
What if you could see? What if you like had one? Like you put one in like a really good fishing hole, and then like you go and catch a fish, and it gets it on camera.
Yeah.
Because it could get triggered by a lot of things. You could also tell who's fishing your spots. Probably there's like a lot.
Yeah, you can see flies going past it. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm nervous about. Like, people will just, put it in a spot, and then they just wait for their monster to come in, and then they go and snipe it.
Yep. Or exactly. Well, it's like, how do you use this in conjunction with LiveScope?
Yeah.
Oof. Anyhow, what's it called again? The Weed Man?
It's called the Weed Man. Coming to deliver the goods to your local fishery. Now, this is called Seaweed Underwater Cameras. Check them out. Seaweed is spelled like sea with your eyes. Get it? You get it?
Punny.
Yes, sir. All right, moving on. Next topic, trout season is open in Wisconsin and Minnesota. Have y'all been out yet? How's the bite going? Crickets.
I have not been out yet. It's actually, there was a couple days. I think everyone at the shop has been out but you and me.
Yep.
You're going out this weekend though, right?
Yep, I'm going out this weekend.
Nice.
We're doing our annual trout camp. Super stoked about it, but it has a sauna, so we'll see if anyone actually hits the stream or we all just do some sauna bathing and tie flies.
Given the forecast of like a high of 9 degrees, I will be very surprised if it's not just one big sauna party of sweaty old naked men.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much like trout fishing, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I haven't been out yet this year, and I may not go out this weekend, but I'm definitely going to get out at some point.
You'll be able to fish tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get out. I was like getting ready to go, and now it looks like the 10-day is going to be a waste of time. Kind of how it goes in January. You get all excited, and then you can't do anything about it. I also want to take Olive out. She's like 8 years old. Jen's family dog just passed away this last weekend, and kind of made me be like, dude, it sucks to trout fish with her, but she has way too much fun. And I'm just like, what? We're just gonna go out, and let her rip.
Yeah,
let her do her thing.
That's good to do.
Yeah, like what do I care? I'm gonna
let her live her best life.
Like, do I need to catch another trout that badly that I can't enjoy a little bit with the dog? So,
yeah,
I think that's what I'm gonna do. Got a couple flies I want to fish, try out. I think we're gonna try and tie one today. What else? We have a couple trout things that we've been excited about.
Yes.
But that's not really driftless trout. That's more, Josh and I are working on a harebrained scheme to try and get a world record brown trout on a fly. More to come. As you know, with us, we have great ideas and piss poor execution. So,
yeah, ideas are like assholes. Everyone
has one, and we have two.
We have two. What else? Anything else about? You want to talk about early season tactics at all?
What? I mean, I would say when it's this cold out, you're better off going to the bar or going to the sauna. I mean, it gets into the 20s, and I think things start to get fishable. tactics that we've seen working so far, nothing out of the ordinary. Small bugger stuff. Gabe was out, had some luck on, I think he poisoned tungstens, little tungsten nymphs, Euro nymphs. And then when that's not working, small little buggers. I love those little tiny jig buggers fished below indicators.
Yeah, those are super
or just
fun.
dead drifted and kind of twitched or even swung a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That can be real deadly this time of year. But also just be patient. I think this time of year for me is more about getting out and getting the cobwebs off and enjoying it. The good fishing is still, a month or two away. Like the really good. Light them on fire, the big ones.
Yeah.
You could still have some banner days though.
Yes,
sure.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So get
Trout
out.
season's open though. Get after it. We got the stock. Shop is stocked up. We possibly bought too many flies. That's a Musky fool problem. That's not a you problem. That is to your benefit. But we have a lot of different flies, and they're all up on the website this time. So it's kind of been an awkward thing that years past as we've had all these trout flies. And we just couldn't figure out a good system to load them onto the website without creating an entire rat's nest. So we would talk about them on things like the podcast or a blog post or just whatever, and it'd be like, oh yeah, well that's only available in shop. And that's not the case anymore. Every fly that we carry, from a tiny little RS2 size 20 all the way up to the biggest musky flies, in stock.
On the website.
Mm-hmm.
They need good homes too. So go gobble them all up.
Exactly.
All right, Daniel. That's enough of that one.
Enough of that. Trout fishing.
Let's move on to another topic. OnX Fish launch.
God.
So the makers of OnX Hunt have developed a new app called OnX Fish, and this provides great accessibility for anglers currently in Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Only available in Minnesota and Wisconsin, which tells you a lot. When we talk about fishing popularity, a venture-backed, I don't think they're $1 billion company yet, but a multi-million-dollar software company released a product for fishing, and they only launched it in Minnesota and Wisconsin to start. The fishing mecca, as one might consider it to be.
Yeah, is this accessibility or problematic spot burning?
I don't know, Josh. This is where I'm just such almost a hypocrite, but I feel like a paradox. I just live in a paradox where on one, the world I used to live in was the venture-backed tech world. And I can understand, I see the same opportunity. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's garbage mapping out there, and even some of the tools like FishBrain, they're kind of. And then you have all these state and local governments putting together their own mapping tools, and oh God, if you want to see something terrible, watch a government organization try to build a piece of software. So they're terrible. But clearly we want the info. We want the, that. So it's I want it. I want to have that, but it's at what point is it too much, and what point, you see what I don't know. I'm not very clear on my thoughts here, but it's there's a lot of conflict in my mind about this topic.
Mm-hmm.
Is it good for accessibility? Absolutely. Makes it easier for people to find a spot to fish. Is that also going to spot burn a lot of things? Yes. I actually, if I could clarify, I think right now, and then I'll shut up, and I want to hear your thoughts, but I think right now, I had more issues with the marketing campaign launch than I did the actual product.
What were your issues?
Well, I don't know if you saw any of these videos. I think I sent you a few of them. It was just basically OnX Fish decided that the way they were going to launch this in Minnesota and Wisconsin was find, half a dozen influencers, and get them to be hey, check this out. I use OnX Fish, and this is how I use it. And in doing so, it was just literal bold-faced spot burning. Mm-hmm. Literally, here's Lake Monona. This is my favorite spot on Lake Monona where I catch walleyes right here. Check it out. And the interesting thing about it was nobody was spot burning their actual own spots.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like if I got paid to be the OnX Fish influencer. No one's worried about that happening anytime soon. And I would just was like, you know, here's my favorite spot on Mille Lacs. Everyone go check it out. I've never been on Mille Lacs in my life. And I get it, because, like, if OnX was paying you to talk about it, you wouldn't want to talk about your favorite fishing spot.
No, good on the influencer, but...
But also, like, isn't that the reason that this is problematic?
Yeah.
You don't...
Yeah.
You're just burning somebody else's spot now? I don't know. I'm an old grumpy man who's not actually that old. Just...
Well, OnX Hunt, like, the premise of that was... It was more in line with accessibility. It was to, like, make hunters aware of, like, this is where the private land is and this is where the public land is. It wasn't like waypoints of, like, here's a deer bedding ground, or this is like a major thoroughfare where all the elk are going to be going from their water.
Right, you had to figure that out.
Yeah, you had to figure all that out. Where OnX Fish has, like, a little bit more in-depth shitty advantage is, like, okay, here's not only where you can access the lake, but now here's some waypoints on the lake.
And so I asked this, I was wondering when I was looking into it, I was like, where do they get their data from? And my take so far is, like, this is partly why they started with Wisconsin and Minnesota, because they had to, like, limit that, and they had to do a lot of heavy lifting on manual data. So it looks like they plugged into, like, the DNR database. Mm-hmm. They got public landings. They also have this feature where you can, like, find lakes based on size potential, trophy potential, abundance, or good harvest. So you can, like, sort them, and that data would all come from the DNR, right? They classify their lakes. They have stocking data that they can embed in there, which is all cool. And then I think that they're also probably, my guess is, partnered or linked up to, like, the fishing hotspots data. Just because when you look at some of those lakes, it was, like, the same exact, like, Area 5. Like, it just felt like I was looking at a fishing hotspots map. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they have, you're right, like, they have a lot of features in there that are, it's not just like, here's a topo map. So they have topo maps, they have satellite maps. Mm-hmm. You can add waypoints. They have boat landings and access. Then they have, like, on the major lakes, they're highlighting spots. Now, generally, that's, like, big general areas. And if anybody's looked at a fishing hotspot map, nobody's worried that that's giving away any secrets.
Yeah.
But then that interesting next piece was, like, the find lakes by trophy potential. Mm-hmm. So on the surface, this is no new information that is not already out there. They just kind of buttoned it up in a better way. And that's why I think, like, my qualm, if I have one, is with the marketing of it. Mm-hmm. Not the tool. The tool is just it's a wrapper. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that term, but, like, you know, it's used to say, like, how would you describe this? Like, ChatGPT is just a wrapper on Amazon Web Services. Mm-hmm. You kind of, you know, like, you need a database level. And OnX Fish is just a wrapper on these shitty DNR databases, which is good for them. Like, I think that's a good tool. It's free.
It's free.
What do you think? I've hogged the mic.
Well, here's what I think. First of all, in 2025, there are now no more excuses for saying, I don't know where to find fish.
Oh, dude, for real.
Between the underwater trail camera, the live scope, the OnX Fish app,
all the spot
Google
burners
Maps,
on the internet,
all the spot burners, and DNR website information. If you want to go
trout routes,
pretty old school trout routes. I mean, all these resources are at your fingertips now. That's
a hot take. In 2025, there is no excuse for not being able to find fish. There's no excuse for, like, the Facebook comments, hey, anybody have a good crappie spot? Like, just try. It's all over the place.
Yes.
All over the place.
I mean, what, the FishBrain app too?
FishBrain.
The FishBrain app's bad because you can, like, look at those waypoints.
I love that app,
and then pull up a photo of somebody holding their.
Yeah, fish. I will never post ever on that app, and it's like, but it's kind of like my, it's kind of like my dirty little, I don't know, not a dirty secret, but, like, bad.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. I leverage other people's spot burning to absolutely tell me what's going on. It's not always that informative. What could really happen, though, that's going to be interesting is somebody takes all of these apps and kind of puts them together.
Exactly. Like, so I mean, all these programs and these apps and these tools that are at our disposal, yes, they're very powerful by themselves. They don't like literally show you where to catch fish, but now you start bundling them all together and they give you a pretty severe advantage over fair chase, which is like the debate we've had and everyone else has about live scope too. You know, so now it's not like,
while the fish are getting less prevalent.
yes, less prevalent. Bag limits are still pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So now it's just like, not only do you have a resource that tells you where to launch your boat, where like the general hotspots to first check out. Once you get there, now you just put your live scope in the water.
Check fish brain. Where have people previously caught fish? Oh, overlap that with what this new OnX Fish tells me. Overlap that with the Facebook group I joined.
Yes.
Now I go out, drive around with my live scope and my underwater camera, and my aqua view, and I got my trail cam. So I could have my trail cam, I could have my trail cam on another part of the lake while I'm live scoping this side while I got my aqua, like, yeah.
I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
I know, dude. It's like, that's what I think is actually a really good point that you make. Because, like, I can sit here and have tried to justify live scope. Mm-hmm. And some of that is, like, I think my perspective is it's already out there. It's already on version 2. And we're not going to do anything about it. So let's stop arguing with each other and go fight the bigger battles. The last episode, we talked about Enbridge Energy.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing talking about live scope? But, and like I'm of the perspective that if state governments, local municipalities, lake associations ban this, I would be like, whatever, you guys do whatever you want, fine, won't use it. But you're making a good point. It's actually, there's a bigger concern when all of these things, like the rate of technology improvement is happening way faster than we can keep up with. Mm-hmm. And way faster than the improvement of fisheries. And that, I think, is a core problem. Like,
yes.
The amount of investment, because like Humminbird, Garmin, they have to take profits and invest them into R&D to build these new tools. The rate that is happening, the dollar amount of that investment, far exceeds what we're investing in our fisheries.
Yeah.
We're not improving our fisheries at the same rate. And I think it's going to catch up. Like, we could ruin them, but we could also just, like, we're going to have all these fucking tools and this fishing is going to still suck. And then people are just not going to fish anymore. Or they're going to fish a whole lot less.
Like, it may be getting people into fishing. It's very appealing. There's all these cool tech resources out there, and it's like, oh, yeah, get into fishing because you can use this crap. But, like, that might work for a little while. But you're totally right. Eventually, the technology is going to overtake everything. And fish quantities are going to suffer because of it.
And I think we're getting into that. You make a good point there. We're getting into like a weird world where everybody's always leaned on like, yeah, but it helps people get into fishing. Don't get mad at me. I'm helping teach people. Like, you should tell people where your spots are. They need to know. I find that to sound a lot more like virtue signaling nowadays.
Yeah.
Where like, no, you're just saying that to justify the fact that you want to sell more shit.
Yeah.
Like you don't actually, if you actually cared about getting people into fishing, we'd be talking about making the fishing better.
Yeah.
The fishing was otherworldly. Everybody would be talking about it and be like, God, you got to check this out. This is fucking rad. We're out here banging them up. Like that's what gets people into fishing. We can justify, well, yeah, this tool and we made this rod and anybody can use it. But if there are no fish there to catch, they will go home. Doesn't matter how much live scope I got.
It gets people into cheating faster.
Yeah, and I think like, do you even think like an app like OnX Fish, is that even being advertised at newbies? It's being advertised at like, oh, we made a tool for, I don't know.
Anywho.
Yeah, I mean, there was one video though that did say, I think one cool thing that I will probably try and use it for this year. I don't know, I don't think it's actually going to do all that much. Mm-hmm. Is like DIY.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I don't have to really DIY in Wisconsin. Like, if somebody's coming to Wisconsin, it makes it a lot easier to figure out what's going on. If you already know what's going on in Wisconsin,
Yeah.
I don't need OnX Fish to tell me that this lake has trophy potential.
Yeah.
But anywho, moving on. OnX Fish. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you used it? Do you like it? Are we just two grumpy middle-aged men? What do you think? Let us know.
All right, moving on. Farmers partnered to clean up watershed on Lake Delevan.
Some good news. So this was actually brought to my attention by Timothy O'Connor, who, if you have ever been in the shop, called us on the phone, supported Musky Fool at all, you've met Tim. He's the man. He's the one out there on the front lines getting all those 5-star reviews, helping people get into fishing, helping them get all the gear. It's awesome. That dude busts his ass. But he is from his family has, spent some time. I think his family has a place on Lake Delevan, that kind of Walworth County area. And he brought this to my attention. There's been Lake Delevan and Lake Geneva have been, especially Delevan, had some really rough algae blooms, water quality issues. Delevan's kind of like a weedy lake that's like right on it's downstream of a lot of farms. So there's two actual things going on that he brought to my attention. We don't have a lot of info on this. We haven't heard anybody talking about this, and that's kind of why we wanted to bring it up, because it's like, have you guys heard about this? Do you know more about this? If you do, let us know. So one, it looks like a coalition of farmers in that area have worked together to basically agree and commit to each other that they're going to plant cover crops. And the reason that that's important is it's going to reduce the toxic runoff. So it's already helped. I believe that this was the first year they did it, and Lake Geneva had a worse algae bloom than Delevan, which is usually the opposite, not the case. So I just thought, like, that headline to me jumped out. Farmers work together to improve water quality. Like, you don't read that headline compelling. Very often, exactly. And then two, you guys will just have to check this out. We'll post a link. Josh has got some info on it. He might have to, I'm not super familiar with it, but effectively there's a big commercial development being proposed on Lake Delevan, and the people who use and love the lake are not fans of it. But the municipality seems to be maybe forcing it through, or there's some invested interests to make this happen. So there is a proposal on change.org. If you are in the area or fish the lake or passionate about water conservation, to voice your support against this lake lawn resort development. We don't have an opinion on this. I think we're being really upfront and honest that we don't exactly, these are one of those things where you can just jump to an easy conclusion and assume that you should not have that resort. I think I'm probably on that side of the fence. But I think we're just kind of reporting it as we hear about it, encouraging everybody to go check it out, develop their own opinion. And if you feel strongly, voice your support against this. How did I do? Did I summarize that?
You did pretty good. Yeah, you did pretty well.
Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. Yeah, we'll put a link in the description here too.
Cool. Good.
Check it out.
Thanks for letting us know, Tim. And I think just another encouragement to everybody else. You hear stories like this. We obviously, our purview is pretty focused on Wisconsin and muskies across North America, but there's so many, it's hard to keep up with all these stories. So if you guys have stuff that you think we should know about, that you'd want us to talk about, or you just want to send us something to get us riled up, that works too. Fire away. We'd love to hear it.
Hell yeah. All right, moving on.
Hell yeah, baby.
Hell yeah.
You're like too comfy over there. You're going to start falling asleep and just like, hell yeah, man.
I'm going to fall asleep.
You got this, Dan. You got this.
On our gently used OnlyFans blue couch. It's so comfortable. All right, moving on. The DNR budget updates.
Oh yeah, another one that I will take.
You want to take this one?
I'm going to shut up for the rest of the episode.
Oh, you can take it.
Josh told me I can only talk for 5 minutes per episode.
Here's cheater notes for you.
We've talked a lot about the DNR budget cuts. That was a big episode for us last year. We're still talking about it. We're still working on it. I was just on a call on Monday with Wisconsin Wildlife Coalition talking about it, taking action on it. And we just wanted to give kind of a brief update. I think this was news that got shared and made its waves last year, and then nothing really happened. And there's reasons for that, but now I think it's getting picked back up and action is starting to happen. So overall, we've got a lot of positive and negative feedback. I think that was expected, that there's going to be some mixed opinions. I think most of the Musky fools, most of the customers of Musky Fool, who I consider Musky fools, even if you don't musky fish, trout fools, bass fools, carp fools, they see the world similarly to us. Like, it's pretty logical. We want to invest in our fisheries, and we should make sure this is funded. Mm-hmm. The negative feedback we got just seemed to kind of be from all over. It's like the reason that the DNR doesn't have money is illegal immigrants. It was just like some of this nonsense, but like it didn't really seem to come from anybody that we knew or whatever. So it is what it is. I think overall the DNR is, I think generally speaking, approaching this well. They're being pretty upfront and honest with everybody about the problems and about ways that they think that we can fix this. They are kind of caught in between us, the constituents, and the politicians, and they kind of exist in the middle and generally get squeezed. Mm-hmm. Politicians blame them for everything, take no responsibility. We blame them for everything, take no action. Like, I wouldn't necessarily want to be the DNR, but yeah. So as far as the update goes, basically what had happened and why the timing of this was interesting was, I think it made its waves and people started to become aware of it right as we were heading into an election. And that was a state election as well as a national election, which meant there was some changeover in who's on these different commissions and who's in the state legislature and the assembly. And when that's the case, it doesn't make sense to kind of burn all your political capital on somebody who might not be there next year. So, and there were some other things on the docket that were already working their way through the system. So it kind of, everybody took the time to kind of organize and make sure we understood the problem. And really this was led up by, I think we got to give a huge shout out to all these fishing nonprofits, outdoor nonprofits, Muskies Inc., Trout Unlimited. This is why we support these groups, why I'm a member and a board member of these groups, why Josh is a member of these groups, is because, yeah, like this is who's going to stand up when stuff starts to go south. And then a big shout out to a gentleman named Cody, who's at the Wisconsin Wildlife Federation. We actually hope to get Cody on the podcast, but he's the one that really brought this whole assortment of people together, dubbed it the Wisconsin Wildlife Coalition. And this was the call I was on Monday. Ducks Unlimited, Trout Unlimited, Kayaks Unlimited, Inner Tubes Unlimited, you name it, everybody's kind of involved. And I think that's really powerful. And the last 3 months has really been about getting a shared understanding, getting members of the DNR to come in and present. And now we're like, okay, what do we do about it? So that was Monday's call. And I think the two focuses, right now I got to understand this better. We'll probably talk about it with Cody or on another podcast, but there's the Knowles Nelson program is like up for renewal and it needs a little bit of love. And so that's like was already the pre-existing priority prior to the DNR cutting their budget. Mm-hmm. And we have to make sure that's protected because that covers a lot of public land and public water. And then priority 2 below that is like what short-term solutions can be identified to plug this budget gap. And really what we're honing in on is the discounts. There's so many licensed discounts, the family discount, this discount, that discount. And there's actually, if you remove those discounts, the license without the discount is already freaking discounted. It's incredibly cheap.
Yeah.
And B, I think there's enough money to make up, plug the gap today.
Yep.
Priority 3 is we know that will not suffice going forward. And I think we just posted something about this. I saw it on I don't even know who it was, honestly, but it was on Wired to Hunt, which I think is Mark Kenyon's Meat Eater podcast. I don't really follow it, but it came across my desk, for lack of a better term. And it was the statement, which I agree wholeheartedly with, is we need to get the protection and the management of our natural resources out of the culture wars. Like, this should not be a Republican-Democrat thing. We should be looking at both of them saying, what are you going to do about this? It has to supersede all that because that stuff changes. Republicans in office, they're anti-environment. The Democrats in office, they're pro-environment. Then the Republicans in office, they're pro-environment. You can't let it shake things up so much and be so inconsistent, because that's the only thing that suffers are the natural resources. So I think that's kind of priority 3 is like, what are the long-term funding solutions? Looking at basically having it so that anglers and hunters aren't the only ones paying for this, because it's underfunded. So
Yep.
that's kind of the main updates. I think the big question that kind of should be on everybody else's mind is like, as an angler, as a hunter, as a member that cares about this, what can I do to support this problem? And I think it's what I had said earlier. It's keep supporting those groups. Show up to your Muskies Inc. meetings. Show up to your Trout Unlimited meetings. Ask them what they're doing about it. Show up to these DNR hearings. Support them. Donate money to the Wisconsin Wildlife Federation and make your voice known. When this stuff comes out, share it, spread the word. Go listen to the podcast we did. Go listen to the podcast others have done, and really get informed. And then I think also support the folks, the groups that are trying to do something about it would be my take. That was a little bit of a soapbox, Josh.
Yes, sir. I think you did a good job reporting on it. Thank you, Daniel.
Rad. What else we got? General updates next? Do you want to take that one away?
Sure. General updates, folks. The Fly Fishing Film Tour and Big Thaw Spring Kickoff Event.
Ooh.
So we're super excited. We announced recently on Instagram that we're doing a new event this year at the shop called the Big Thaw. And then with that, we're hosting the film tour on Friday night. So the dates for that are March 21st and 22nd. More details are going to be coming very soon. By the time this podcast airs, we'll actually have a info page on our website. But yeah, so Friday night, film tour. Saturday, all-day event at the shop. We're going to have deals going on, tying demos. The plan is we're going to get a keg of beer for everyone to kind of hang out and enjoy in some of these common areas at our office space. Plus, like where we're sitting right now will be open, so it'll be like a little bit of an open house vibe. You could actually come and see the spot burn.
Yeah,
studio.
We're kind of like, we really don't know what we're doing, folks, in case that wasn't very obvious. But we've done the film tour before. We're hosting it, so the film tour squad's not coming to Madison this year, but we're going to host it. It's going to be awesome. That's going to be Friday to kind of warm everybody up, kick it off.
At the Barrymore Theater.
At the Barrymore. You can get tickets at the shop. Going to be great. I heard there's a Blaine Chocolate Musky film in the film tour. And then Saturday, because we're not doing trade shows, we're like, well, we want to do something fun for everybody. So we're going to have a big spring sale, which is fun. We're going to have tying demos, seminars. We're going to kind of keep it warm and fuzzy, too. Like Josh said, have a keg. We're going to have an after party, and we want everybody to come. This is not just some exclusive, you have to spend $100 on a ticket to watch me tie a fly event. This is just for the community. Come out, come hang out with us. Spend money, don't spend money, come to the party.
We're going to do some giveaways even.
Oh, we're going to have some awesome giveaways.
Yes, we got some stuff in the hopper, but...
Tacos and karaoke for the party, like...
Yeah, and then
what
we're really excited for, too, is there's a new Mexican restaurant right across the street called Centenario. So we're working with them to have like a little after party.
They said they're open till 1:30 a.m. and they got karaoke on Saturday night, so... Yeah, and then also what you said, too, it's like... I don't know that many folks know this, but Musky Fool started in my house, in my basement.
Mm-hmm.
Then we bought the 105 East Main building. We opened the shop in July of 2022. 2022?
Yep.
Yeah. I was like, I think there's a
grand opening poster.
2022.
We should know this off the top of our head.
The upstairs was where we had all our inventory, and we quickly got too big. Gabe was dyeing bucktail at his house in Eau Claire. He moved to the shop, so we couldn't dye bucktail at his house anymore, justifiably so. So we have a place in Monona where we dye bucktail, and then we needed more room, so this place next to the shop came up. Yeah, it's like...
So much growing.
So we needed more room to keep growing sideways and vertically, and no one's ever seen it. And we have a lot of cool stuff. So we're going to open it up. We're going to fill every piece of gear we have. If you come to the shop, you know that we can't fit everything in the shop. So you kind of have to like look online. Well, we're going to open it all up. Open house event. Did I ramble enough for everybody?
You did great. Okay. Yeah, you did great. Yeah, it's going to be super
we're excited.
fun.
We're
very excited. Also happening that Saturday in Wanakee, Cap City's
that's right.
Musky School. Not fly focus, but still very rad. Dan has previously done a couple seminars at that school as well.
It is. There'll be a lot of smart musky folks there. So like, if you're a musky conventional angler who goes to the musky school, like, come on and swing over to the shop.
Yep.
After you're done with your seminars, or hey, after the musky school's over, come party with us at Centario. Likewise, if you're a fly angler that has never really been exposed to muskies, like, come over to the shop, come hang out at the Big Thaw event, come to the film tour, and then I'd encourage you to go check out maybe a seminar or two at the musky school. It's not fly fishing, but they're still fishing. You're going to learn something.
Hell yeah, a lot going on that weekend in Wanakee. Also that weekend, it's the same weekend as the Great Waters Fly Expo in St. Paul. Mm-hmm. So if you're coming from the north, maybe stop there in the morning, shoot on down to the shop in the afternoon, or just totally bypass that expo and come hang out with us. We'd love to see you. We wanted to put on an event that was more kind of in the southern region to bring people from the Milwaukee, Chicago area, things like that. They have their own scene up there, so we wanted to do something that was a little more down there, which is a good segue into talking about the Fly Tires Rendezvous. So the Fly Tires Rendezvous used to be up north. And that was developed several years ago to bridge the gap from like the Twin Cities area and the western Wisconsin area. And, you know, a lot of folks from the south, Madison, Chicago, Milwaukee, they felt left out because it was too far to travel. So this year we have decided to forego that event. It's not going down this year. It's not to say that we're never going to bring it back. We're just taking at least 1 year off. It was, to be fully transparent, quite a lot of work. Put on this massive fly tying event that was completely free, line up all the door prizes, and all that stuff. So unfortunately, we're not doing that, but we're replacing it with a really cool spring event called the Big Thaw at the shop this spring.
Yeah, and I think that's like kind of where my head's at too is I think something we think about as a business in fishing and like a brand and a fly shop is there's so many different things, so many different directions you can get pulled in. A million different directions. All the different brands that you're supposed to carry at the shop. This direction and that direction. We're really using our hands today to speak. You know, do you go to this trade show? Do you offer fly tying classes? And there's so many things, and you can't do it all. So we want to keep things fresh and new and also have fun. I think not to say that the fly tying rendezvous wasn't fun. It was almost too much fun. If you remember what happened to the Airbnb, and same with the trade shows. We have fun, but we just weren't. It wasn't capturing our juices this year. So we just were like, okay, we're not going to end it forever. But we're just going to take the year off. See if we bring it back next year or maybe in a couple of years, and we're going to try some other stuff. Like we got to just experiment and have fun with it. So
well said. Yeah, that's a good way to put it for sure.
Think so. I felt like I was just like,
no, that was good. All right, along with those general updates, we have another exciting thing. We're launching our hair jig tails.
Ooh, yeah, I'm excited about this.
Dan, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure.
Talk a little bit about it?
We'll have to get Gabe. We'll do some stuff with Gabe because he'll talk about it. I also want to get some of these walleye jig tires to talk about what they look for. But, you know, basically the reason we did our premise for bucktail when we started, we worked with Brad to begin with and no longer work with Brad. It's all in-house now. But grateful to start the way we did and grateful to be where we're at. But our premise was we are musky fools through and through, and we need good bucktail, and we did not accept that you had to, in order to be a musky fly fisherman or woman, you had to go hunt and peck for bucktail. You had to go to all these shops and pick through it, and it just was trash, and it wasn't a good experience for us. So we're like, how can we find the best bucktail and make it so that you can trust what you're getting online? And as such, we had to come up with grading systems for this and come up with processes to quality control. And I think we were onto something. I mean, I know we were onto something because, everybody grades bucktail the same way now, the way we do. And I think that's a good thing. I don't look at that as a competition. I think that's we found the standard and we made it. And now there's some consistency, across the market. We can agree on what a good tail looks like. But if you know bucktail, it's so nuanced, right? There's wavy and crinkly and flat and hollow and crispy and long and short. And we had been getting as we started to do more bucktail, we had started to gain the attention of kind of the conventional market, the walleye guys, or even the fly tyers who didn't tie musky flies. And it turns out they want different bucktail.
Yeah.
What we considered to be the bucktail we liked, our A grade, they were like, oh, that's cool, but I don't want the hollow stuff, and I don't really need it to be that long. But I love your colors, and I love the quality. And we kept working on it, and every time we would go, find bucktail, we'd kind of bring it back, and I think we finally cracked the code. And we really, it's through getting a lot of feedback. Well, it's Gabe. Gabe is a huge reason that this happens, is because he's like obsessive about it. And if you would hear him talk, he is so obsessed with the quality and making sure he delivers the best possible bucktail for folks. It's incredible. It's like an artist. And he's the one that really, we started tooling this around with. But we also, like the Tesh boys up in Green Bay, Noah Humfeld, Brett Alexander, Luke Ronestrand, all these whether it's smallmouth jigs or walleye jigs, they've really found us and said, holy shit. And we were able to get some feedback from them. So that's like a long version of how we got to this point and why the hell we're coming out with hair jig tails. They're not just for hair jigs, but you get the point. And here's the gist. So this is lighter, flowy tail, right? This is, you can almost move the tail like this and all the fibers kind of undulate in the air. Whereas the hollow stuff is a little bit stiffer, a little crinklier. This is tail literally that we would sort out before when we were looking for musky tail.
Yeah.
And it's really not about length to these guys. They don't want super short stuff, but they don't want hugely long stuff. It's really about the type of material. They do not want it to flare. They do not want it to be hollow. They want it to be this like really buttery, soft, kind of airy stuff that's, again, not crinkly. Yep. So that's what hair jig tails are. It's a work in progress. We think we got the grading down. The colors are on the die racks right now, and by the time this podcast comes out, it should be launched just in time for the big spring walleye run in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's get it.
That's the gist. That's what we got, Bam Bam.
Love it.
Bam Bam came up with a new sticker, so we got a cool little chartreuse sticker on the package.
A new sticker.
Because a lot of these hair jig tails, colors are different too. I think a lot of the colors that are requested here is like the purples, the chartreuses, the blues, the yellows.
Yep.
Some of which we use for musky, but I think like purple is like the color for walleye jigs and smallmouth jigs. So
that's what I remember is like everyone requesting purple last year.
Yep. Well, you've had firsthand experience with this because folks at the Musky Expo would come up to us for our bucktail for their walleye jigs.
Yeah. And it totally makes sense. They'd want the fibers like that. I've never seen a walleye jig that has flared bucktail on it. They want that stuff straight.
Yeah, and it's the same. There's other flies too. Like I think it's not just for jigs. Like this is the tail I'd probably use for murtiches.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
Like all sorts of, and I think we're also going to find out like that you guys use this tail differently. And I think it's like grading hackle. Now you know what you're getting. You know if you need some hollow stuff, that's going to be the A grade. You know it's going to be 3.5 inches or greater every single time. You need something a little bit different, you get the hair jig.
It's great to see a solution for all these tails that previously didn't make the cut.
We're trying.
Now they're going to good homes. So
every bucktail has a home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right.
Dun dun dun.
We're moving on.
Dun, dun, dun.
To our most anticipated and excited section of this podcast. Now, there's been some debate. if this is a segment or a podcast within
It's a segment.
podcast.
What do you mean? What the hell's a podcast and a podcast? It's a segment.
It's a top secret podcast that you can only get to if you listen to the Spot Burn podcast.
It's a nested. It's a
nested podcast. I don't know.
So
Dan pays me my paycheck, so he might have the final say. But
Josh
as
is
of right
calling
now,
it a pod within a pod. I'm calling it a segment. To you guys.
You tell us what you think it is. But it's the fly roast.
The fly roast.
The fly roast. We need a theme song or something.
What's in the box? We don't really know. Hooks, feathers, fur, some highs, some lows. Dan and Josh are here to see if this flies fire or pure comedy. Welcome to the Fly Roast.
Warning, we are not liable for anything we say in the fly roast. Usually recording is an out-of-body experience, so forget everything we're about to say.
We got a fun little logo. We're going to have some stickers because there's going to be awards and prizes.
Yeah.
So
Dan made me design a logo, so that's why I feel like it's a podcast within a podcast, because it's official.
You heard the man. It's a pod within a pod.
Yep.
I'll disagree and commit. Pod within the pod. But also a segment.
When in Rome, do as the Romans do. But okay. Sorry.
So we're gonna explain. We're gonna explain what it is. We're gonna explain where it came from.
Okay. What is the fly roast? If you've ever seen the show on YouTube that's gone viral, Kill Tony.
Don't judge us. It can be very offensive. We're not gonna be offensive.
So the Cliff Notes of the Kill Tony show, the whole premise is comedians come up on stage. They have 1 minute to do their best comedic
They have to
act.
sign up. They have to put their name in a hat.
Sign up, put their name in a hat, get called out of the hat, get up on stage, deliver their best 1 minute, and then afterwards they get interviewed by Tony, Hinchcliffe, and some of the other hosts and other comedians.
And nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows whose name is going to be called. Nobody knows if it's going to be terrible. Nobody knows if it's going to be the next best comedian.
Mm-hmm.
And we just had this thought, we get sent one of the coolest parts, without a doubt, one of the coolest parts that was for sure the least expected part for me of running a fly shop, building a fly shop, was how many people would just come in with their patterns or mail them to us on the internet and be like, hey, especially Musky stuff, because we're the Musky shop, give me some feedback. What do you think about this? Or even just hey, I want you to have this, fish it. I want you guys to catch a fish. And if it happened once, it would have been cool, but it happens weekly. Just weekly. And it's so cool. And we take it seriously too. We're really this is so cool. And we fish them and we talk about them. And we've actually, this is how we found some of the coolest flies in the shop, some of the coolest tires that tie flies for us. This is how we found it, is they reach out and we get obsessed and we go catch a fish on it, or we tweak it with them and we give them some feedback. So that was already happening. That's been happening since Musky Fool started. And, we were just having fun with it and thought these people this should be a thing. This is so cool that it happens. It happens all the time. And how do we really value the effort? So how can we show that? How can we show how much we value the effort? And also how much we love the art of fly tying. The art of fly tying is so much of a reason why I fly fish. Mm-hmm. Is because you can come up with something. I don't have to go to the store and buy a bait. I can come up with something and make it and then go fish. And it just connects me to this very deep down hunter-gatherer emotion in me.
Oh, absolutely.
So I love it. And we wanted to kind of be able to celebrate that and celebrate kind of the inventive, creative process of fly tying. Mm-hmm. And also give people feedback and have a little fun. So yes, we are going to roast people's flies live on the podcast. That's what's happening. That being said, if you know Josh and I, we're not cruel individuals. We don't really have a cruel bone in our body, except when it comes to muskies. I fucking hate them sometimes. So we're gonna keep it lighthearted. We're not on some elitist high horse. I don't even consider myself a good fly tyer. So we also know like we're not going to even have swam these flies yet, so we're just off the cuff.
We're just judging them on face value.
Yeah, we're reading
Instant
a book by its
impressions.
cover.
Yeah.
We are literally reading a book by its cover, but we're going to have fun with it.
Yep.
We're going to have a wall of fame/shame where all of the flies go when you send them to us. We're going to fish them, and who knows what happens. Like, we might find some absolute crazy fucking winners, some ugly flies that catch fish, some pretty flies that don't catch fish. Who knows? So that's kind of like the Dan version of what this is.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk us through what's actually going to happen?
So yeah,
People are going to send us flies, right?
Yep. So by the time this podcast airs, just like the Big Thaw event, there will be an information page on our website that gives a full rundown of the fly roast. So it'll have an intro listed on there, and then it'll have the specific instructions that you'll need to do
To submit your fly.
To submit your fly to Musky Full. We'll probably have some type of waiver on there that
Disclaimer of liability.
Disclaimer of liability.
You can't sue us.
Yep. So every fly that gets submitted, you'll send it to us. We will unbox it live on the air, so we won't have a chance to look at it ahead of time. Those would be like genuine face value.
Yeah, first
reactions
exactly.
in the moment. So we're really excited about it. And like Dan said, we will keep the fly. We'll put it in
The wall of fame/shame.
Wall of fame/shame. And then, we'll announce your name on the podcast, and everybody will be able to see it. And
Yeah, and
check
there's going
it
to be
out.
prizes.
Gonna
There's
have
gonna
prizes.
There's going to be, if you make it through the gauntlet of Josh and Dan, we might even have some special guest, like when Gabe or Nick or whoever's on the podcast, they're obviously going to have, we'll get their thoughts and get them reviewing. But yeah, I think that's the big stuff. We've already had a few. We're going to start with a few of the random flies that we've already been sent today.
Okay.
And I think we're also going to say this. The Musky Fools, Josh, myself, Gabe, Tim, Charlie, Matt, Nick, we are not off the hook. We are going to blindly subject ourselves to the fly roast. So at any given point, there may be a fly in here that is tied by one of us. It's all on the table. We're not above this. We're not the experts. We're just the purveyors of it. So that's I think what I got.
I like it. I'm excited for it.
Are you ready to start with the first inaugural fly roast?
I am very ready. I'm so excited right now. Let's do it.
We're gonna start with 2 flies. We got to go one at a time.
Okay.
I'll let you pick the one we start with.
Okay.
There's hooks on them, so watch yourself maybe.
Okay.
There you go. Oh, that's my pubic hair. Sorry.
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 Holy shit.
What the hell is that?
Look at this thing. All right, I'm going to bring this up to the camera here quickly. So,
We'll probably take a picture of it too and
Yeah.
post it, but show that thing off. Looks like a lure.
it does look like a lure.
I know who
Okay.
tied that.
So it's essentially like a topwater gurgler hybrid thing with a weedless hook.
Might even have a
the
little
back.
crankbait wobble to it. Type
Yeah.
of dur, 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 dur.
Here's the top of it. It's got a Packerini tail on the back.
Is that a Gunner Brammer hook?
Yes, it's a Gunner Brammer hook. Probably in the
6/0?
6/0 size. Here's the underbelly.
Rubber legs too in there.
Dude, this thing is really sick.
That's Andy Boots.
Okay, Andy
He doesn't
Boots,
know. He doesn't know that his fly. He didn't actually.
He hasn't signed a waiver
Yes,
yet.
yes.
Because he's our first guinea pig.
He doesn't know that this is happening right now, but that's part of the fun.
That's part of the fun.
Yeah, everybody else will be able to sign up for this. But yes, Andy Boots, we love you, buddy. He's a local tyer at the shop. If you know, we've had some of his flies. The Iron Tail's one of our favorites.
That's so sick.
But what I love about Andy is, there's a lot of fly tires out there, and there's nothing, it's choose your own adventure, but there's a lot of fly tires just kind of reinventing the wheel. And Andy does not do that. He does some crazy shit. And he'll admit, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes, though, there's just you can't, no matter what you say, you can't say that this isn't unique and that this isn't somewhat creative and innovative.
Yeah.
I've never seen a fly like this.
No, nothing even close
Nothing
to
even
that.
close. And that's pretty cool. Like that, first off, you get high marks for that.
I agree. Like
Well done, Andrew.
Pretty much everything you see is just a remix of somebody else's pattern, but this to me screams like truly unique and really pushing the envelope.
And then he's also, like, that's the design accolades. He's also a very technically good tyer. I mean, you just look at this, it's clean. You know, some of these harebrained schemes, at least when I tie them, they come out and they look like they fell out of my asshole. Like, they're just like, ugh. Sometimes they're fishy as hell, but they're just like weird. This, like, it's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
You know, the hooks, the eye's not crowded, the lines are clean. He's got like this little like marabou poof. It's I see some bucktail. I see some mat. This is the yellow stuff's marabou.
What is some of this flashy material? Is that nightmare?
That's nightmare. Yeah, that looks like wavelength.
Wavelength, flash and fiber.
Flash and fiber, bucktail, lateral scale. There's lateral scale in there. Rubber legs. And then there's a howitzer head with this like foam. This is one of the, if this is how the fly roast is going to go, this is going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
This is sweet.
I would love to
The whole
have
point
that fly.
was that
I want
we
to
were
fish that fly.
yeah, the whole point was that we were going to roast flies, and the first one we're like drooling over.
I don't know if I have any bad comments to say about this fly, honestly. It's like the perfect size. It's about,
The
what would
hook
you
maybe.
say, 9 inches, 10 inches long?
Yeah, probably.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So
The
you're not a
hook-
fan of the GB hooks?
That's nothing on Andy though. That's just like I have had some. I think you got to be prepared to have some hookup issues with these hooks. It's you know, we were on the boat for that situation. Now it's not. I'm not. I still use them and they're awesome because where these hooks shine is in areas where no other hook can get through the slop.
Undeniably.
Undeniably,
The
they're
only
not
option.
even close
Yeah.
how good they are. But you got to still be able to poke them in the face.
Yeah.
Very cool though. Very cool. I like even the, you know, the technical fly tying, like the details, the finish, his material manipulation, really good.
Yeah.
Innovation, creativity, 10 out of 10. Color combo is super rad.
Yeah, and like sometimes when you start putting marabou on musky flies, they get so ungodly heavy that you can't throw them. This fly has like a perfect balance of marabou and other materials in there, so it's not going to get bogged down.
Nope.
And I think this fly would have a tremendously different action on like a floating line versus an intermediate versus even a full sink. You could probably get
How did you when you first saw it, how did you like first envision fishing it? Kind of where, like what was your inspiration on like, ooh?
I immediately thought of this one spot that I fish in like some of the hotter months early in the morning with topwater stuff. So, and I'd want to check this out because it has a lot of foam on it. I want to check this out with actually an intermediate fly line.
Could like run in the film too.
Yeah, this aggressive head is really going to make that thing.
Could like maybe
dive down.
have a little hog wobbler action to it.
Yep.
Little boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
No, I like that. My head went to, I mean, I heard you say top water, so I was thinking that too. But my head went to like, how does it perform on a deep running sink line? Like, do you get any wobble? You know, you're obviously going to push a hell of a lot of water, but do you get any like back and forth wobble?
Yeah.
Like that would be rad.
If you crack the code on hog wobbler,
yeah, because then you could fish this through the slop. Like that's the problem with topwater musky baits is you can't fish those through the slop really. But this you could literally fish in and around everything if it floats.
That's cool.
Well, this is, like I said, if this is the first fly, this is going to be rad. This is absolutely going on the Wall of Fame. And I think we're probably going to be fighting over who gets to fish this once the season opens.
Absolutely.
We're bringing this one to Kentucky, Andy. Coming to Kentucky. So the first official fly, it's all downhill from here, most likely. Because this thing parties hard. Andy Boots.
We don't have the prizes made yet, but by the time this airs, hopefully the prizes are made, and we will be sure to send you a prize, Andy.
Yeah, so you have to share with everybody what you get, Andy.
Yep.
And also let us know what the fly's name is, because we need to have a name.
Yep. Good job.
Otherwise, we'll come up with a name, and you don't want Josh and I to do that, because it usually will be like 8-year-old boy humor.
Well done, Andy, and thank you so much for unknowingly subjecting yourself to the first fly roast.
Thanks for tying flies for us at the shop. Thanks for coming into the shop. Thanks for being a good dude. Next up.
Oh yeah, next up.
We're doing 2 today, so this is it. This is it for the fly
Today,
roast.
the live unboxing. I don't need to close my eyes because there's only one left. All right.
What do you got?
Okay, folks.
Oh, a little Buford.
Little Buford action.
First impressions.
First impressions. Okay.
It's okay.
If I had to describe this Buford, I'd say it's a pretty standard size Buford.
Josh is.
Hold it up to the camera.
If you know Josh Smeltzer at all, you know that right now he is trying to think of nice things to say when he really has only mean things in his head.
No, I'm not going to say anything too mean about this fly. So, yeah, as a single Buford goes, I think this is a pretty good size pattern. When I first started musky fishing, I would think this is an ungodly huge
Agreed.
fly and be super intimidated. But the thing I like about this size is it's a good fly that you can cast on a 10 weight. It still has a pretty good length, good profile and everything like that. It would cast on a 12 weight like
Cast
a breeze.
probably even on an 8 weight.
It's got a shank in front of the head
Shank hook platform.
to push that hook farther back. So, you know, sometimes a lot of the time when you see these single hook Bufords, the hook is so far in the front, you're just banking on a headshot from that fish. This has now offset that hook to almost the middle of the body. So that's in a good.
That's a good. Yep, that's good.
That's really good.
I'm gonna.
I think
It's a little bit of a hot mess for me.
I don't know. I think it's a pretty good Buford.
Okay, you're being. Yeah, that's Josh's opinion. I would say. I've seen better Bufords in my day. So this is a good fly for the fly roast though, because I think what we have to preface, and this is not us making a disclaimer so you don't get mad at us, but this is real. I think this fly is fucking gorgeous, and everything about it is cool. I'll get into more of it, but I think this fly is kind of a piece of trash. This fly could still kick ass and catch more muskies than this fly. So you have to take this all with a grain of salt, folks. Mm-hmm. We're going to fish some of this stuff, and we're going to probably have contests on fishing the pretty flies and fishing the ugly flies. And, you know, were we right or wrong? Because ultimately, it doesn't matter what Josh and I think. If you really want to do a fly roast, you put this in front of a muskie and you wait and see what it does.
Yeah, they're the ultimate.
They're the ultimate roast.
Judge and
jury. And they think most of our shit sucks. But if we're going to evaluate this, at least if I'm going to evaluate this, a couple things here. It's just, you know, I think this looks like a good effort at a beginner. But there's some details I would say that are missing. One, just like see how the flash is just like all clumped together?
It's all clumped together.
And, you know, it's not very aesthetically pleasing. It's not veiling around like Andy did here. Andy's got a perfect flash. The Buford head is probably what I'm reacting to is the hot mess. I don't even know if I can see the hook eye. Oh yeah, there it is.
There it is. Is it glued shut?
It's pretty glued shut. You got some like asymmetric deer hair going on. The colors are cool. I like the colors.
Well,
it's a good stab, but I think I would if I was giving feedback on this, I would pay a little bit more attention to the details of wrapping the materials. So when you wrap in that flash, you know, what are you going for? Are you going for like lateral lines? Are you going to veil it around? Because it kind of just looks like you just latched some flash on there. And again, the fish might not give a shit. Mm-hmm. Probably more feathers, because when this fly gets wet, that tail's going to pretty much disappear.
Yeah, there's only 2 tail feathers. Oh, there's 4 in there.
4 in
but
there.
2 wide ones, 2 skinny ones.
Size is good. I like the color. I like that brown, suckery, blendy style.
Yeah.
The bucktail wrapping could use a little work. So you can see like there's like this, there's like a gap in between. And that's common when you're learning how to use bucktail, is like you kind of get these big thread dams that you build up because you're trying to like get the bucktail to sit down nicely, and it just kind of makes it sloppy. It's light. I also, those hooks are okay for me. I think those light predator, I think that's what that is, the PR light predator.
Yeah, that's a light predator hook in there.
They really stick fish, but I can probably bend that out with my hand right now. So that's something to think about.
Overall, I think this isn't too bad of a Buford, though. Like, it's very utilitarian. Not a lot of bells and whistles on it. It's kind of your standard run-of-the-mill Buford, but I'd fish the hell out of it.
You would?
I would. I'd fish this.
Well, I have fished the hell out of that fly. It has caught 0 muskies.
0 muskies?
I also tied that fly.
Oh, shit. Okay.
It was the 3rd Buford I ever tied. I have pretty much saved every fly I've ever tied, unless I lost it.
Well, I'd say your 3rd Buford you've ever tied isn't that bad, so.
Maybe I should have showed you the 1st and 2nd Buford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think on this fly.
We'll post pictures of it. I think it's a hot mess. I think it's a fucking disaster.
Everyone's always critical of themselves, but I don't think it's that bad.
Even if it wasn't my own fly, I'd tell them it was a hot mess.
Okay.
But yeah, easier said than done. We'll see if I muster up that same courage next time.
Would you say this fly goes on the wall of shame then?
That's where it was at my house.
Okay,
yes.
so this fly will be going to the wall of shame. And Dan,
Bam Bam apparently likes it, though. He might be fishing it. If he's fishing that shit in my boat, though, I'm going to have a fucking panic attack.
I'm going to steal it and catch a muskie on it.
God damn it.
Dan does not get a prize.
No, not for that fly.
This has been deemed a hot mess and is going to the wall of shame.
Hot mess. We got 1 for the wall of shame, 1 for the wall of fame. And we obviously had to, I had to go find some flies here. In our bin of we have a bin of flies.
The Misfit Toys.
The Misfit Toys. The goal is the next episode. We have some awesome submissions from you that are truly blind. We're truly blind. So Josh was blind on this one.
I was blind,
but we will admit that we planted it. We do not want. We're not going to plant them going forward unless it's one of ours. So there might be an opportunity, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. This is a total experiment, guys. Might be a train wreck. You never know, but we think it's fun. Send us your flies. Maybe you'll end up with the next best musky fly. Maybe you'll get roasted. Oh, and it's not just musky flies.
Yeah, it's all flies. Salt
Everything's
water,
on the table.
Salmon,
You want to send us a nymph? Send us a nymph. By all means, we're going to evaluate everything we get.
Go for it. Have fun, folks.
No lures, though. This is a fly fishing podcast. This is no lures.
Keep your eyes peeled. We'll post stuff on Instagram about where you can get more info and then have the page available on the website.
Love it.
All right.
Fly roast #1 in the books.
Hell yeah, baby. Moving on.
You were so nice to my fly. I'm surprised. Now I'm wondering.
I didn't know it was your fly.
I know you didn't.
Actually, I kind of did know it was your fly, but I didn't know.
What gave it away that it was my fly? The hook crowding?
No. I don't know.
You just kind of.
I just had.
You knew that I was
for the first one. I knew Dan was gonna do it.
One. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. God damn it. All right, we'll work on that.
All right, moving on to the main event 2024 recap. Favorite and least favorite moments from 2024.
Oh yeah, so did a little.
What did the audience love or hate? Highs and lows, memorable fish eats, shout outs, some stats. So let's rattle some stuff off here.
How many episodes did we do this year?
Talk about the Spot Burn podcast. We did 19 episodes in 2024.
It's pretty good. A little over almost 2 a month, but not quite there.
Pretty good. We could have done a little better, but it's not bad.
Yep.
Our goal for 2025 is to about double that.
I feel like we found our footing in 2024, though. Like,
yeah.
We crossed over the threshold where they started to feel like fun and easy, and we found kind of our lane.
Yes.
I don't know if that's how you feel.
We waded into some interesting territory.
Yeah, but there's like those first 10 where just it felt like it was so much work to like just get it done. I was uncomfortable. I don't want to speak for you, but I was just like, this feels awkward.
Yeah, like our whole workflow of like recording, editing, delivering content through a camera. It was weird.
Yeah, or like weird. We started out in a moldy basement, and then we moved to a moldy warehouse, and now we're here on a formerly used OnlyFans couch. So, like, we're evolving.
We're evolving.
The environment as well.
Yeah.
We did some interviews.
Yep. we engaged in a passive-aggressive fight with Steve Ranella over
We did.
Muskies.
That was fun. I don't know that Steve Ranella knows that we got in a fight, but I'm going to go down. Like, I'll tell my grandkids that I got in an internet fight with Steve Ranella.
Yeah.
And won, obviously.
It goes over better that way,
totally,
for sure.
Totally.
Top episodes.
Did anybody know this, that we dropped our little stupid naming convention? And I say stupid because this was my stupid idea.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah, that was the thing, I think, from Friends,
That was from Friends.
where they'd be like the one about, and we thought that was super cute and funny, and then we realized it was getting progressively harder to come up with episode title names and that nobody seemed to care, so we dropped it, and turns out more people watched the episode when we dropped that name convention, so I don't know if you noticed that, but we're not doing that anymore.
Not doing it anymore. We're forging ahead with cool
Jen
names.
and Josh got their way and are usually right, so.
Yep. That's enough of that. Our top episodes.
Oh yeah, let's do, what were our top viewed episodes?
The one about Steve Ranella and the 72-pound muskellunge. That was our top downloaded episode.
Yep, turns out clickbait does work sometimes.
Another top episode was the 8 tips for catching more muskies.
Interesting.
And then the last one was the episode with Bill Shear.
That was a good one.
Yep.
Bill Shear's really good. I mean, he's just so knowledgeable. He's just been doing it so long and is so passionate about it. That was a fun one. I'd love to even... We told Bill that we were going to connect with him this year, so I think, not to skip ahead, but maybe on my plans and goals for 2025 is to go... We're going to go kidnap Bill and get him in the boat.
Go hang out with Bill. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Love to meet the guy someday.
You think he's ever been on a boat like Shamu?
I don't know. Maybe. If not, we're going to take him for a wild ride.
You think we can take him through the channel?
Yeah. At full throttle, baby.
Just be sure to wear your waders today.
Yep.
He'd have such a fun time.
Worst episodes of the 2024 season.
Big surprise. This one surprised me because Josh and I had high hopes for this. We did an episode on boat maintenance with Andy Farrow over at Farrow Marine, which is where I got my boat. It didn't go so well. Nobody cares about boat maintenance.
No, but also, in our defense, our GoPro died 3 times during the recording of that episode.
Oh, it was terrible.
So
Yeah.
the flow and the pacing of it and like...
It's choppy and weird, and we didn't really prep Andy very well. This is like what happens when you're learning on the fly here.
So...
Yeah, we can blame it on the guest, but it's really us. Right? Yeah, I know.
I think at the end of the day, we're both a little bummed at how poorly that episode did. If you guys want to hear more about boat maintenance, I know I always want to. We'll definitely do another episode on it, though.
Yep.
We'll redeem ourselves.
Yeah, but maybe we should just like take a sledgehammer to a boat motor. That'd probably get more views than talking about
Talking about maintenance.
fixing them.
Yeah, true.
Aeronautic. Then the other 2 lower views were the one about sloppy seconds and the one about early muskies and mosquitoes. So maybe it was just stupid. Like nobody wanted to listen to an episode about sloppy seconds.
Yep.
But that was a fun one. That was the one where we talked about where the orange black double Buford kicked ass in the second boat, and you guys were in the first boat, not fishing orange and black double Bufords intentionally.
Yeah, everyone's just sick of hearing about
Double Bufords that are orange and black.
Yeah. Yep. Favorite moments or episodes? Audience feedback and interaction was probably one of the
That's the most fun.
moment.
When like the
Moments,
comments, when we post those little stickers and you guys, like genuinely, when we're sitting right here, it feels like nobody listens to this and Josh and I are talking to ourselves. So then we post something like that and you guys, yeah, it's fun. Like somebody.
It means a shitload to us.
It does. It means a shitload to us. And like somebody posted the other day, I can't remember what it was, but like it was like an inside joke from the podcast.
Yes.
I think it was telling me that they wanted more
sound effects.
Yeah,
So maybe 2025 is the year of the sound effects.
Your wish is our command.
Now the tables have turned and I'm wrong and Dan's right. Because he's always been pushing for sound effects.
We need some other sound effects. We got to load up some sound effects in here.
We'll load some stuff up in there. All right, least favorite moments.
Well, what else? What other favorite moments did you have?
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Other favorite moments, my favorite moment overall is just like getting out of my comfort zone and doing more of these episodes.
Totally.
Because initially, like, we were so like shy in front of the camera, and then if we got a guest on the show, then that was pretty nerve-wracking. but we're getting more comfortable with all of that, all of our processes. That was a favorite moment of mine. Doing the On Location podcast where we recorded one on the island.
That went surprisingly smoothly.
That was one of my favorite episodes, and I'd love to do more of that this next year.
I agree. Changing it up. I think we have this set and we like doing it here because it is a good vibe, and we're gonna try and get guests here, but we're not going to restrict ourselves in 2025 to only record here. We're gonna record while we're out and about. Josh and I might do some Zoom recordings just to keep it going. I think we have an ambitious goal of hitting 36 podcasts this year with like 10 interviews. So we're way more organized. We're planning ahead, and we're gonna just keep feeding this thing as long as you guys keep liking it and listening to it. So
hell yeah! So thank you guys
for sure
so much for
sure. That's why we do it.
Continuing the support.
That's why we do it. What about least favorite moments? What did we miss? What did we learn? Are you looking for a new co-host yet, or are you satisfied? It is what it is. It's what you got, not what you want.
Least favorite moments? I don't know. I feel like there were a couple days where I was really sleep deprived and didn't want to record a podcast that particular moment. That was the least favorite moment.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we did.
I just tied you down and forced you to do it.
Yeah.
Least favorite moment. Yeah, there's some times. I think there was like one where we tried to record like 3 in one day, and I totally didn't even know where I was by the third one. And I was just like, save me, Josh. Where are we?
Yeah.
Least favorite moments. I probably said some shit that I regret, but that's pretty typical. Did we record the huge one this year or last year?
Last year.
Yeah, that was like, Josh and I had this big ambition to record podcasts when we go fishing, and then you go fishing and you realize that you're a zombie and you're not in a good spot to record a podcast. Mm-hmm. That's why we did the On Location one at lunchtime. Because we were still fresh.
We were still fishy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Optimism was still at an all-time high.
Correct. So, yeah, I don't know that I have any least favorite moments. I enjoy it. I'm so glad that we're in this new set, though. That's my least favorite moment. That old set, it was in a concrete, terrible acoustics. It was always freezing cold. If you watch those podcasts, I'm in like 3 layers and long underwear.
It smelled like bucktail because literally it was
I can't even smell that anymore.
Right next to where we processed bucktail.
The heat was so loud we couldn't run it while we were recording. Mm-hmm. It was just cold. That table squeaked. Not that we're complaining, like who cares about the podcast set, but now it's comfy. We're sitting on a couch, even if it did have an interesting previous life. It's a couch. It's comfortable.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. All right.
What else?
2025 preview. Topics we plan to cover on the show this year.
Yeah, rattle a few off, I guess. None of these are fully baked, but just to give you guys a clue into what we're looking at.
More interviews. We're planning on doing. You want me to rattle off names, or just rattle these points off?
We're going to probably try and interview a few biologists. There's some cool stuff going on across the Musky country. There's a brook trout thing happening. We want to learn about that.
A well-known rod builder.
We have an aggressive goal of getting one of the most knowledgeable OG Musky dudes that nobody knows about. Like, this is a guy who is not on Musky seminars. He's not at Musky shows. He's not on the internet chasing clout and fame. No one knows about him, and I will go to my death being like, he's like up there with Larry Ramsell and Dick Pearson. Mm-hmm. Like, legend of the sport. And we're going to try and get him on the podcast. That'll be fun. And he's just a northern Wisconsin dude who's not trying to be on the internet and, just a tough fella. And I think that's going to be, it'll be fun. What else? What other topics are in there?
Fishing trip, plans, goals, tournaments. We already have several fishing trips planned out. We have the
earliest I've ever musky fished in my whole life.
Yeah, we have a tournament, a brand new tournament as of last year, and brand new to us, the Kentucky River Musky Classic. We're heading down there in about a month. We're very excited.
Yeah, very excited to see everybody. I love the bodies of water that are down there.
Yep.
They're very cool. It'll be a good chance to fish some pre-spawn stuff, get the shack nasties off. But really, I think it's, and this is the same for Beast. We can never make Beast work because it's October, but this event is so perfect because it's in February. Mm-hmm. Season's closed up here. And we're just going to go down and meet all these folks. I think the SVS guys are going to be down there.
Yep.
A lot of our southern Musky brothers and sisters, Kentucky, these are folks that support us and have supported us from day one. So we're sponsoring the tournament. We're going to go down there and see everybody. There's like at least 4 Wisconsin teams coming down. So my goal, as it always is that Wisconsin is 1, 2, 3 on that leaderboard, baby.
Represent.
Josh and Dan are 4th, but everybody else will be 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And I think just get the cobwebs off, get back to fishing.
Yes, sir.
It'll be very interesting if I musky fish in 2025 before I trout fish. That's never ever happened in my life.
Ooh, it might happen.
It's possible. What else we got? I mean, where are your feelings at? We haven't even really planned out the year for where we want to go. I think we know we want to go back to some spots we went last year and fucking figure it out this time.
We learned so much data from last year's missions of failing that I think that we know what not to do.
So many new spots that we went to, and that's just hard statistically to have success, to constantly be fishing a new body of water for 2 days.
Yep. So now we can put those pieces together and really solve the puzzle this year. And I'm excited about that. Some other goals I have personally, I want to finally tick off every major river in Wisconsin that holds muskies that I have not fished.
Ooh, I'll join you on that. I feel like we have a few that overlap and then a few that don't.
Yep.
I can show you mine, you can show me yours, and then we'll go.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a few. I know you and I haven't been on one together.
Yeah.
We've talked about that one float for like 4 years now.
Absolutely.
I like that idea. So we're going to do a little bit more floating this year. Is that what you're saying?
More floating.
Oh, shit.
Get back to our roots a little bit.
Love it.
What's in store at the shop?
I want to take you to Vilas County, too. Josh has never spent a ton of time up there. That's where I grew up fishing. So we're going to...
The true musky capital of the world.
Yeah, we're going to do a little Vilas County, Oneida County, kind of the other side of the state. We'll get after it over there. Mm-hmm. So that'll be fun. You got any spots you want to spot burn for us? By all means, we'll take them. We're totally hypocrites.
Hit us up. Send us a hot
Send us your waypoints.
On fish. What the fuck?
OnX Fish.
OnX Fish.
Yeah, share me your waypoints. There you
go. What's in store at the shop, Daniel?
You have a pretty ambitious personal goal for the year.
More cool events. What's my personal goal? Oh, getting stronger.
Bam Bam has
been working out, baby.
He's been leading the charge in many ways, inspiring all us young dogs in many ways to be, less of a bitch out on the water, grinding it out. But now he's on a health kick.
I'm on a health kick.
Everybody thinks we're just a bunch of musky degenerates.
I'm taking control of my personal wellness journey. I want to age strongly.
It's so funny though, because I think our wives are probably happy that we're both kind of on this personal health journey.
Yeah.
But deep down, don't you just want to tell them that it's just so I can musky fish till I'm 80? I really don't give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah, I'm so motivated by muskies that this helps me do it more often and better.
Yeah,
so
honestly, when push comes to shove, that is the deciding reason. You won't be able to play with your grandchildren when you're 90. Sounds like I won't be able to musky fish either.
Yeah. I quit drinking because I was sick of being hungover while we were fishing and tired all the time. And I was just getting sick of shit. So here we are, baby. 2025, new year, new me.
Watch out, world. Bam Bam is fucking alive and well.
Let's go.
He's going to be slinging 800 grains across the universe.
Gotta get my macros, baby.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What are you doing for workouts? What's your regimen?
I do 3 days a week of this weightlifting class. So it's just circuits, and you do a specified number of reps in those circuits.
Are you trying to max gains, lean muscle? What are we just shred? Just get shredded?
I'm not looking to bulk up.
No creatine
I just want to age
supplements.
strongly.
No creatine supplements yet?
No.
That's good. If you get into the steroid part, maybe dial it back a little bit.
I will.
What else? What's in store at the shop? We kind of talked about, we got a big event, Big Thaw.
The Big Thaw.
Year of focus, year of just I think we're getting in that stage. We've been around for 4 years. You just this is when you put your head down and just keep doing what you're doing as best as possible.
Yes.
There's going to be some new fun stuff. There's going to be some cool media. We have an awesome ideas and content ready there. We're recording some more fly tying videos, but it's like just hone it in. Just keep whittling, and making it better. We don't need to do a million things. We're not going to be everything to everybody. We're going to tackle some more hard topics. I think we feel like that's kind of our role, is at least to speak out. Might get us in trouble a little bit, but nobody ever did anything cool staying quiet. So
Yeah. So you have on here, Daniel, that you're looking to get your little peanut out on the water a little more too. Lucy?
yeah, she's definitely the age where she can like run around and know what's happening now. Like if I caught a fish, she'd be like, whoa, like, and I can't help myself. So I think trout season is perfect for that. We got a backpack set up. She's walking and rolling and tumbling all around now. So I think we're gonna try and get her out, get her in the boat, and just kind of no pressure. We're not trying to like turn her into a savage angler yet. But just enjoy it. This is our favorite thing in the world, Jen and I. Like, we just want to go to these places, and I think it's also just for Jen and I too, right? To all the parents out there, especially the wives and the mothers, like, it's no joke what they go through. And she basically had to take a year off of doing the thing she likes. Even just going out and trout fishing in February, March, and April is just like one of our favorite things to do. And we didn't really get to do a whole lot of that. So now we're going to get back in the saddle with the new family member. Yeah, it'll be a total, it's just a shit show of massive proportions though. Like if I would subject you to coming with us, like getting out of the house is a victory.
Yeah.
It's
like amplified.
Nobody shit all over the car. Yeah. So your expectations change. It's not about the fish anymore.
No.
At least when she's involved. So yeah, that's. I talked about getting the dog out. I think Josh is going to probably inspire me to keep up with him now because I can't, fall behind this new version of Bam Bam. So
you gotta get swole.
Yeah, I need to. I'm in a full regimen of daily stretching.
You have been good about your stretching, your chiropractor appointments.
My posture. I have to. Turns out, if you followed this journey, ironically enough, a lot of the problems with my hands and arms that we've documented is actually because I have bad posture, and I'm like pinching my nerves and reduces circulation, and then I just go like this all day with a fly rod. How is that for a visual? So yeah, it's like focusing on my posture. It sounds so lame, but like, yeah, that's been helping my fingers and hands, and I feel stronger.
Your posture?
Yeah, like how I'm sitting right now.
Yeah, is that bad?
It's probably not the best. It's not perfect. So yeah, that's what I got. No big changes to the fishing program. More, better, harder, stronger, faster, longer is the name of my game.
Yeah.
I got a few flies.
Make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I got a few flies that I always like to debut. Kind of ideas. Obviously, like this fly we talked about needs a little.
The tentacle. The thigh tickler.
I need it. If I can get it to a point where Josh considers fishing it, then I know I got something.
Then you got something special.
Because visually, right now, if we would have put that in the fly roast, he would have not been as nice.
No.
He did see it get throttled.
I did see it get throttled, so I'm a believer now for sure. Big time.
But the tentacles are very weird.
Yes, they are.
But yeah, that's about it on the 2024-2025 recap, wrap up, look ahead. I don't know there's nothing else. We're excited. It's going to be another awesome year at the shop, another awesome year fishing. Don't know what to expect other than that.
Yeah. All right.
Is that it? Quick tip? You want to rock that quick tip, baby?
Let's move on to the quick tip.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We got some hooligans outside right now. We got to wrap this up. We're going to get bum rushed. They're coming for us.
As we close out this episode of the 35, we're just going to cover our quick tip. This is a quick tip, not brought to you by Quick Trip, but hopefully someday they will sponsor us.
I just want free freaking mozzarella sticks, baby.
Free matzo sticks. All right, so today's quick tip. Always check your ferrules on your rod, folks.
Broke 2 rods last year because of this.
Yep, super easy to just willy-nilly fish all day, and then before you know it, your rod snaps in half. You can tell. And
then you blame the rod manufacturer usually, but it's yourself to blame.
Yeah, pretty much. So always just kind of like every, I don't know, however long you do it. I fish one-piece rods primarily, but when I'm fishing like
I don't,
a bass
but
rod,
I tape, a little bit of tape, although I don't tape as much. I crank them down, but Tom Shank actually has a really nice system, and this system is on all of his 2-piece and 4-piece rods. He puts a little line so that you can see when there's a gap between the line, and that gap means your ferrule is loose. And that visually is a really good reminder to check it and constantly. And you just kind of have to just get in the habit of checking it. Like just check it. That's the only way to prevent it from happening. Or seat it on there so much that you can never get it apart, which is another solution, but like you'll never be able to get it apart.
Then you can't get it apart.
Yeah, or 2-piece, 1-piece, those help, but there's not a ton of options, and those 1-piece rods aren't really made anymore, so.
Yeah, check your ferrules.
But yeah, it is a huge difference maker. I mean, I've had fish start following my fly as my ferrule had come off and was in the water. I have had a ferrule come off in the water, and the next strip I got hooked up on a rock 12 feet down, and I broke off the fly and then lost the ferrule in the river. I've broken rods, so like check your ferrules. It'll save you money, it'll save you muskies, it'll save you pain and suffering.
Yeah. I think it's more annoying to break a rod than it is to have a rod that's stuck together.
For sure.
Personally.
For sure.
Yep, so keep those ferrules checked.
Well, cool. That's all we got today, folks. The first inaugural fly roast. Keep your eye out for more details. We want to see your submissions. Will you make it through the gauntlet? Will you pass the test? Will you get the prize?
The choice is yours.
The choice is yours. Choose wisely.
All right, y'all. Thanks for listening.
Episode 35, back in the books.
Peace.
See you later.
Thanks for tuning in to the Spot Burn Podcast, brought to you by Musky Fly Fishing Co. We're stoked to have you along for the ride. If you're fired up about the show and want to keep it blazing, share it with a friend. And don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Got a spark of inspiration, feedback, or just want to fan the flames of conversation? Head on over to muskyfool.com. We'd love to hear from you. Keep on burning and catch on the water, y'all.